Hello, my friends, and welcome back. Thank you very much for being with me again today. There's no secret anymore that NATO uses ATACMS long-range missiles in Ukraine to hit the Russian targets over, for now, occupied, as they call them, territories, which is the territories the Russians acquired through a referenda in Crimea and through, referenda in Donbass and so on. Now, we're not going to be focusing on that. We're going to focus on how they say the Ukrainians use the ATACMS missiles, long-range missiles, to attack Crimea overnight. And the Russians claim they downed all of them. So remember, the Ukrainians, which I don't think is the Ukrainians operating the ATACMS systems or missiles, or the HIMARS, or the Patriots, or the Abrams one tanks, or the F-16s. That's my personal assessment of that, and I will say it as loud as I can. Nevertheless, I think it's NATO troops, American troops, crews that operate all these things. So nevertheless, now they have long-range missiles. Remember, ATACMS goes to about 300 kilometers range. That's what they say. All right? Who knows? We can't verify that. Nevertheless, let's put it at 300. Remember, before that, they had 180 kilometers, which were the Storm Shadow missiles, or Scalp, the French variant. 180. Then it was the HIMARS, remember, about 50 kilometers, and then 80 kilometers. So if you can see, it's an escalation. It's expanding the range of how far these guys can hit. That tells me either the Russians are pushing them too much, they're advancing, which they do it slowly, or these guys want to hit further in Russia. Obviously, the Americans say with half of their mouth, no, and everybody else in NATO, except Cameron, the imbecile Cameron, who lost his job, but he was appointed now as foreign minister of Great Britain. You can make shit up. If you screw up on your job, they're not going to put you in the same position, are they? Unless you are in a government job. Why? Because in private, it's your money. In the government, it's someone else's money. So you can fuck it up as much as you can. Believe me. All right, I work for the government. I know how things work over there. When it's someone else's money, yeah, I do this, I do that, like a god or goddess. Most of the time, goddesses. They're women. That's a fact. That's my direct experience. You can't beat my direct experience. Fuck off. That's what I experience. So anyway, unless I'm lying, and if I'm lying, you have to prove I'm lying, which you can't. Unless, bring evidence. There's no evidence because that's the truth, what I said. So nevertheless, so what's going on over here? These guys are practicing for Crimea Bridge. That's what it is. They think that once they destroy, and I think they will succeed in destroying Crimea Bridge, they will claim that like a victory of the war. They shot long-range ATACMS missiles towards Crimea overnight, and the Russians claim they downed all of them. Now, the truth is somewhere in the middle. I don't think they downed all of them. Is it impossible? No. Is it probable? I don't know. I can't tell. But nevertheless, the Russians claim that they shot down 4 US-made long-range missiles, Ministry of Defense says, over Crimea. They're testing to hit the Kerch Bridge. That's why I think. In the meantime, they can try to hit some airfields or, military installations or weapons, whatever they got over there. It's S-300s and Panzer and who knows. Now, Russia today. This is May 4th, 2024. Russia shoots down 4 US-made long-range missiles. Kiev forces have attempted to attack Crimea with ATACMS supplied by Washington, the Russian military has said. Remember, these guys said, it's Americans said. I'm sorry, the Ukrainians are legitimate they can hit targets in Crimea because it's a legitimate target. That's their land, so they can do it. But then, why do you send 300 miles? Are you afraid these guys are going to hit you inside, or the Russians attack? Or maybe you want to hit Moscow. Remember, if you look over the map, which I will show you, 300 kilometers is, I think, more than half the distance between the border, the Sumy border, let's say Sumy, I was about to say Sumy, Sumy, or not only Sumy, it's also, what's his name, Chernihiv, or Chernihiv or Sumy, towards Moscow. I think these guys wanna, and when they're gonna send that over there, they're gonna say, oh, it was a, whatever, missile Neptune, the Neptune anti-ship Ukrainian-made missile. It's not going to be our missile. But Cameron, that imbecile, said, no, I think these guys, Ukrainians, which I don't think they operate them, nevertheless, can hit targets, military targets within Russia. And the Russians are doing what? That's an escalation. Why don't they say, well, it's legitimate to hit, let's say, that little thing. No, they were not? No. That just create a natural tsunami next to the island and see what happens. I'm not promoting that. But these guys want to fight with someone else's people, and then they think that we're going to smack you, but you can't smack us. Maybe these guys, which is the Russians, can change that. We'll see. So let's look at this article right here. Russian air defenses have shot down 4 US-manufactured long-range missiles over Crimea, according to the Defense Ministry in Moscow. On Saturday night, Kiev forces attempted, and I'm quoting, to carry out a terrorist attack against the Russian peninsula using a surface-to-surface Army tactical missile systems, ATACMS, supplied by Washington. The ministry said in a post on Telegram, the strike was intercepted, it added. On Tuesday, the Defense Ministry claimed that 6 ATACMS projectiles have been downed in a single day without specifying the location of the strikes. So Tuesday they say 6, now they said 4. All right, so that makes 10. All right, in total, 16 such missiles have been intercepted in the past 7 days, even more, Moscow reported on Saturday. In late April, US officials confirmed earlier media reports that the Pentagon had secretly, we all knew, I don't know what the fuck secret that was, shipped an unspecified number of long-range missiles to Ukraine as part of arms package announced by President blah blah. And I'm quoting, the goal of supplying Kiev with ATACMS was to put more pressure on Crimea and allow Ukrainian forces to target the peninsula, quote-unquote, more effectively. The New York Times reported at a time, citing an unnamed Pentagon official. We like that. I can name how many ones and I can make whatever claims I want, and I say confidential. That's an unnamed person familiar with the issue. You love this. Now, Moscow said the provision of long-range missiles would only spell more problems for Kiev. That's what they say? Okay. On Friday, Foreign Ministry spokeswoman Maria Zakharova warned that any Western-backed Ukrainian attack against the Russian peninsula or the Crimean Bridge, which connects it to the Krasnodar region, would spark a forceful response. Blah, 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 blah. And I am quoting, I would like to again warn Washington, London, Brussels, you should have started with London, that any aggressive actions against Crimea are not only doomed to failure, but will also be met with a retaliatory blow. I would like to know here, she said during a media briefing. So, I don't know if they downed all the 15 as they claim, right? There were 15 eventually in the past 7 days. But I think this is just a practice and target practice. They see how the Russians will react to, and therefore they can look at that. And then it's like a scientific process. You know, I change this or I put them in practice. So this is a theory. ATACMS are the best ones, right? I'm going to test them against real things, which is the enemy's capabilities, and see how they react. And then I tweak here, and I'm observing all that, get the data in a very inclusive, diverse, and equitable way, which is going to be like this. If you have DEI hires or whatever, then you're going to have these guys, oh, we're not going to get this data, we're going to get only this one because it sounds better, fits our narrative. That's why they claim, because I don't think they really are so dumb. Some of them are, but I don't think some of them are so dumb in this case to fail. Oh, they failed to realize Russia's resiliency, you know, how quickly they adapted and all that. We thought that Putin will not react, will not know how to react when we're gonna slap them with the first round of sanctions. Remember, they said in 1 week the ruble will be rubble and all that. Nothing happened. I think they knew nothing will happen, so they can come with the next one. I don't think they really. I mean, there were some baboons over there, out there that thought, yeah, man, we're gonna fuck them up, man. And when nothing happened, let me get some fleas. Yeah. Okay, I think that's what they did, some of them. But the other guy said, good, we knew that. So we have to tight the screw a little bit, right? Okay, and more sanctions on you, the European Union, especially Germany, because you can compete with us. France, Great Britain compete with the United States when I fucking fly to the moon and back yesterday. That's what it is. Only Germany has the discipline, that's what I call discipline, to do it. The other ones have the wit, but don't have the discipline. They don't want to work as much. They are not consistent. They say, fuck it. If the line is not straight, it goes like this too. It's fine. What the hell? The Germans, 999. Let's do it again. And they do it. They used to. But hey, Germans become new Germans now, which is, okay, so they will fuck themselves big time. And these guys as well, because, that's the way it goes. It's not a coincidence that certain cultures produced something and other cultures did not produce the same results. And then it's just a migration from one side towards another, not from the other one going to that somehow. With all this systemic and all that. Fuck it. Nevertheless, what do you think? I'm waiting. Why? Why waiting? It's going to happen. The Ukrainians said many things, as did the Russians and others. But the Ukrainians said by mid of the year, let's say June, Crimea Bridge will be blown up. We are in May, right? So they got less than 2 months. And it's going to happen. You'll see how they want to flood the Crimea Bridge air defense systems. 100 projectiles, drones, missiles, rockets, whatever they got. And these guys will pop, recharge, boom, 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 boom. You don't think so? We want to find out. And Russia, again, will respond. How? How in the fuck are you going to respond? Like this? Or like this? Knockout. Oh, well, thank you. I know the Russians are not stupid. I know that. So the fact that they react, they react, I'm pretty sure they have all their ducks in a row. I'm pretty sure. And since they're European, they must be smart. And well, they must be. I mean, they're Russians after all. So as long as they are as they are, I really have faith in their mental and the balls ability to withstand these perverted societies. Thank you very much for being with me again today. Stay strong, stay smart, look for the truth, and be just.